Tonight, there is glimmer of hope as normalcy slowly returns to Ol Moran after days of a security operation. We speak to Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembea on reclaiming Ol Moran. Meanwhile, no politics on the pulpit. Church leaders say no to politicians politicking in church. Tonight, we engage the Anglican Archbishop. But first, these are the stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, calm slowly returns in the troubled Ol Moran area of Laikipia County.
Ingawa pia haijakuwa ni 100%, lakini kila shule iko na walimu wamerudi.
Schools that were forced to shut down once again opened their doors for learners.
So far leo wanafunzi tulikuwa na 64 ambao wamekuja.
Also tonight, 3 bodies retrieved from a building that collapsed in Mamboleo Estate, Kisumu. Plus, a middle-aged man allegedly hacks his 2 children to death before committing suicide in Kisii County. It is alleged Daniel Makori had quarreled with his wife. Mini Mbesa is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abu Bakr Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, as calm slowly returns in the troubled Ol Moran area of Laikipia County, schools that were forced to shut down indefinitely as a result of the banditry attacks once again reopened their doors for learners today. However, despite the government assuring residents of their security, parents and teachers in the area are not convinced. Musa Salah reports from Ol Moran, Laikipia County. The national anthem, then the day's prayer. Learners in Ol Moran Primary School gathered here for their first parade 2 weeks after their school was closed indefinitely following banditry attacks in the area. Although the playful laughter of kids in class has done a makeover on the atmosphere of this school, the pupils' attendance was low. Only 67 pupils out of the 582 learners enrolled reported back to school today, with the situation replicated in most schools we visited. For example, in Donyi Primary School, out of the 237 registered pupils, only 67 reported back today.
In fact, we are supposed to be 237. So far, we have just 69 of them. So you see, even it's not even a quarter.
So far, leo wanafunzi tulikuwa na 64 ambao wamekuja. Na kawaida tunakuanga na enrollment ya 582. Walimu tuko na walimu wamefika walimu 7. Na kawaida tunakuwa na 13. Hivyo natarajia wengine ambao wamebaki hata nao watajiunga na sisi.
Ingawa pia haijakuwa ni 100%, lakini kila shule iko na walimu wamerudi. Na pia kwa hizo shule 5, shule 2 ndizo hazijaresumu masomo vizuri. Merigwit kuna asubuhi tutarudi kwenda kuangalia, lakini kulikuwa na wanafunzi 2 tu. Alafu hii Miharati ndio wanafunzi hawajarudi, maana yeye ndiye aliathirika sana.
But these learners have unusual guests in their compound. 2 police officers patrol each of the affected school compounds. But the heavy police presence here seems to have done so little to convince parents and teachers that it is safe to go back to school.
Hata kuna wengine wamekuwa wakifanya patrol, hii wakubwa yao wamekuwa wakisunguka kuona vile kazi inaendelea.
We are confident that kuna usalama na pia serikali wametupatia security officers ambao wako on the ground, lakini unajua kuconvince wanafunzi na kuconvince wazazi including ourselves teachers ati pale Garinaro, kwa sababu shule yetu iko katika kijiji kinaitwa Garinaro, si kitu rahisi sana.
Kama usalama itakuwa, watoto warudi shule.
Hivyo tunaomba tu waongeze mikakati, sababu tunaona wanaenda ndege na jeshi ziko, ndio uoga ukiondoka watoto watarudi shule.
Lakini ningependa kuhakikisha kwa mahali ya makazi, mahali watu wanaishi kwa sasa tumefanya clean up, tumeongeza askari huko, tumeweka formed units, tumeweka askari ambao watakaa pale almost permanently. Kwa hivyo hakuna hali ya kuwa na wasiwasi kwamba labda kutatokea labda mambo ya utovu wa usalama.
However, learning in these schools is partial. Learners leave school for home as early as 2 o'clock in the afternoon to compensate for the long distances they have to cover to get back to their homes before the 6 p.m. curfew begins.
Watakuwa wakiondoka mapema na hata sasa kukuja shule hawatakuwa wakikuja mapema vile kawaida, kwa sababu wanakuja mapema kwa sababu ya usafi. Lakini sasa natarajia sasa hawatakuwa wakikuja mapema na hata kuondoka itakuwa tunawarelease mapema kwa sababu wengine wanaishi huko msituni.
Schools that closed shop due to insecurity in Olmoran, Laikipia County, reopened their doors for learners. Several schools in Olmoran have recorded a low turnout for both teachers and learners, even as the government promises to beef up security in the area. Musa Salah, TV47, Laikipia County.
Thank you, Musa Salah, for that report. Just a reminder that tonight we are speaking to Rift Valley Regional Commissioner on this broadcast of the security situation now and what it will intend, or what the government rather will do to make sure there is a long-lasting peace in that area. That discussion is coming up after this. Let's get to more news. And the government has received 210,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines from the government of Poland. The vaccines were presented to the government officials from the Kitengela vaccine storage facility. The vaccines come at a time when the government is up and about creating awareness to the public on the importance of getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
That's important. Also in Poland it is important for the charge to... COVID-19 is a global pandemic, and the only approach that we have to use and that can be successful is a global approach, which includes sharing the vaccines, donating, giving to help the other countries to vaccinate the population as quickly as possible.
My role was to convince the member states that if vaccines do come here, that they will be used, that the cold chain is in place, that the vaccines go on, that they will not disappear in the sun, but that they actually get to the people, and that people are able to organize the various vaccine centers, not just in Nairobi, but out in the field.
I want to urge Kenyans, don't wait. Don't go to a vaccine center and ask which vaccine is, and then say, I'll wait until the one I want arrives. That period of your waiting may be just the period you will regret in your life. It is the time that this virus will attack you and you will have no protection. We want to continue repeating, the vaccine that is inside your arm is the best vaccine. Do not choose. Kindly show up yourself. The healthcare workers are now fully trained and they can administer each of the 5 vaccines that we are deploying in this country.
Moving on, ODM leader Raila Odinga says there is no economic model that can flourish in a country experiencing violence instigated by political turmoil orchestrated by selfish leaders. Addressing delegates from the Ma community in Kajiado, Narok, Samburu and Laikipia in Ongata Rongai, the ODM boss emphasized on national unity for prosperity.
Wewe uliitana ili kuendeleza ujumbe ambayo umekuwa ukisunguka taifa kuzungumza nao, kujenga uwiano kwa mwito wa azimio la umoja.
Right honorable. Hawa watu hawatataka tena ni wazungumzie. Si mmetoshana na mimi? Mmetoshana na mimi sio? Bado mimi nawaambieni, hata kama mimi si ODF, hata kama mimi si Jubilee, nawaambieni huyo bwana hawezi kuumiza Wamasai.
The Masai women and the Masai youth. In the end, the way out of marginalization, poverty and myriad other injustices the Ma community continues to suffer. The way to help the community compete in the cash economy is the education of Maasai youths and empowerment of Maasai women. I have said that I don't want supporters or followers. I have come to ask for partnership. I want us to walk hand in hand, bega kwa bega, until we reach our destination. And our destination was coined by our founding fathers, which says that
Elsewhere, 3 people have been confirmed dead and 6 others injured after a 2-story building collapsed in Mamboleo Estate, Kisumu County. Several people were trapped in the rubble. Workers of the house who were on duty when the building came down, but most of them managed to get away. The county government of Kisumu says it had stopped the construction earlier this year, but the construction was resumed. The contractor has already been arrested as investigations commence.
The building has been investigated by us around 2 times, and the last time it was closed due to some and few non-compliance issues.
At least why waangalifu county government na engineers wote why waangalifu katika hii area, sababu nyumba zimeanguka hapa juu, kulianguka kwa kiasi huko juu, kuna ghorofa ilianguka ghorofa 4 huko, alafu na hii nyingine tena. Pole sana kwa wenzetu, mimi ni jirani hapa Mandera Apartments na Robert Okemo.
Ikianguka ulikuwa karibu na kuna nyumba?
Ikianguka nilikuwa pale juu, nikaona fumbi, kuona fumbi, na mmoja alikuwa juu akipiga picha. Kuchukua jini kidogo kufika hapa tukapata nyumba imeanguka. Kuanguka tukakuja hapa, hata tulikuwa na huzuni kubwa.
Sasa tunaomba ya kwamba serikali ya kaunti ya Kisumu kabla waidhinishe nyumba yote ikijengwa, kwa sababu mwaka uliopita pale juu kulikuwa na ghorofa nyingine pia ilianguka na watu waliweza kuumia. Sasa ni area moja na tunaona hii ikifanyika, tunasema ya kwamba lazima sharti county government and national government must be able to look into all the building regulations.
You're watching TV 47 News tonight. Keep talking to us. Time for us to take a short break. But when we come back from the break, remember our first guest tonight is Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembea. We will be making sense of the status of security in the Olmoron area and Laikipia in general. Stay with us.
Ability is common in everyone. Those abled differently also have immense ability.
Maybe we are not good in both, but we can be good in life.
They reach beyond the limits in their special, different way.
If the society can just be careful in what they call them and how they refer to them, that would at least be better.
They need to be loved. They have feelings. They would like to give love. It's a natural thing.
Catch their story on Beyond the Limit on TV 47 every Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
The brain does not exactly know how to differentiate physical pain from the psychological.
Nilikuwa na feel nimefeel hata watoi wangu.
This month, our sisters, mothers and friends share their heartfelt stories of the pain and struggles with Joy Irungu.
We are all about being authentic and sharing our lifetime experiences to speak hope and empower a woman who's probably going through a rough patch.
Join us as we unravel the heartache.
So the doctor told me she has only 2 weeks to live.
Mimi nilikaa tu miezi 2 tu nikiwa na furaha kwa ndoa.
Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Are you looking to buy a home? Or are you looking to build one, yet you don't know where to start? Well, The Realtor is your home of real estate development information, whether you are looking to invest in the city or outside the city. We link you with the experts in the field, be it designing.
We have also a very nice lighting and then gypsum decoration on the top of the ceiling.
Roofing.
When you involve a professional in your construction, there is a difference. Project that has been delivered by a professional person and a project that has not been delivered by a professional person.
Interiors.
What we are trying to go is for a mix of European and Middle Eastern look.
Everything all under one roof. Join us every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m.
Any waste stream in our society can be turned into a revenue stream. Basically, turning lemons to lemonade. It could be a restaurant, animation industry, artistry, or even fitness. Just like the sweet and sour
Welcome back to your channel of choice. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching TV 47 News Tonight, and as earlier promised, let's bring in our first guest for the night, Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembea, who joins us on the broadcast. Good evening, and thank you for your time tonight on TV 47.
Good evening to you too.
All right. Last week on Monday, the government ordered a security operation targeting the larger Laikipia area and specifically Olmoran as an operation area. Close to a week later, how is the situation now?
Thank you for that question. Compared to the situation on Monday, we've made tremendous progress. Because by the time the government was declaring that area a disturbed area, and therefore the commencement of the security operation, criminals were setting houses on fire. There were deaths that were being reported, injuries, displacement of persons, and generally the area was not very secure. Mm-hmm. Schools had also closed. But as we speak now, the deaths have stopped. No more people are being injured. There are no acts of arson in that place. And as of today morning, children began trooping back to school. We've basically fortified that area and deployed more security officers there.
You paint a picture of the change in the last 7 days, and we have our reporter there, and he equally paints a picture of such. So does this mean that the bandits have been defeated, or are they in hideouts waiting for the operation to cease so that they attack?
The initial plan was to restore normalcy the quickest way possible, and actually we were given just 7 days that expired today. But we know that the challenges of Olmoran and the larger Laikipia County are entrenched, and therefore they require time to be sorted out. We can't for now say that we've defeated the bandits. We are facing some operational challenges, especially in the Laikipia Nature Conservancy, which for a long time has provided a safe haven for criminals. So as we secure the populations in the settlements and ensure that learning resumes, we'll continue with our activities within the Laikipia Nature Conservancy and other ranges where we believe that criminals have continued to hide.
Well, these attacks are quite seasonal, and the regional commissioner, it's not the first time. You may argue it could be the last time, but history will prove us otherwise probably. But given that this is happening in a cycle that is quite predictable, quite 1 year or so ahead of a general election, why is it difficult, and I use that word and you have a right to disagree with it, to restore peace in that region totally and for once?
I think in past instances, we've been what has happened is that we've underestimated the threat. Like what has happened now, if it was in the past, we'll have actually moved our officers out and declared that the area is quite safe. But we've learned from the past, and this time around we're going to be there for the long haul to ensure that that we have the restoration of law and order, which is lacking in that place. People have been chased from their farms by gun-wielding bandits and who have taken over their property for grazing. And so the culture of impunity has been growing over the years. We want to address that so that we restore respect for private property and also restore the sanctity of human life, which has been lacking in that area.
You say we want to restore, which is quite futuristic and even probably an ongoing exercise. But those tasked with the security of that region, you included, should at least, isn't it, take some responsibility. For instance, when I was just looking at the numbers, there were initially 11 security personnel at Olmoran police station.
I began by admitting that we underestimated the challenge. Not me, but those who were there before me. That's why you can find a station with 11 officers in an area like that. A police post with 3 police officers. So as government there, I think we did not match the threat with our deployment. That's what we're trying to address now, and we're going to address it fully. The officers who are involved in active operation will not leave that place until we are assured that normalcy has returned and that law and order will be the order of the day, not just some passing cloud.
And given that some of these issues that often are fueling this cycle of attacks are quite historic, such as the question of land, what more do you think needs to be done to make sure that this doesn't happen in the future?
The question of land is based on misinformation.
Is it?
And that's why sometimes you see us arresting political leaders. Because if you go telling people that a privately owned ranch historically belonged to your people and that you can go there and reclaim it using the power of the gun, then you're basically misleading your people. When land leases expired in that place from 2004, we began having problems because some people thought that automatically the ownership will move from the ranchers to the local population. But that's not how the law operates. And these leaders understand it very well. But surprisingly, they've not been able to explain this to their people. They keep whipping up emotions. Of course, that has been the major problem when it comes to land, the problem of misinformation. But then again, we've got another group, especially from Chiati in Baringo, that are basically engaged in banditry, where you just go and steal animals, kill people, and then you find a hideout in the Laikipia Nature Conservancy. They've got no cause. There's just criminal activity. And those are the people that we're dealing with now, because when the minister gave that 7-day ultimatum, when he was there in Laikipia the first time, genuine herders actually moved out, and they've been having some kind of arrangement with the rangers so that they can be provided with pasture. But these criminals are herding animals that they stole, so they can't leave that place without exposing themselves, and that's why we're going to get them out by force.
George Natembeya, you say the question of land is a misinformed question. It's not, isn't it? It's you yourself who is on record saying, and I quote, there are some people who are obsessed with ranching and they are targeting Laikipia Nature Conservancy to displace the owners and take up the ranch.
That's a very correct statement. What I'm talking about is when you say that is your ancestral land. You know, you keep hearing about historical land injustices. This land belonged to our ancestors. Those statements are the ones that I used to fuel the small people there. But the big fish just want to use these emotions so that these small guys can go in there and cause mayhem in the hope that maybe the government can accede to their demands. And hopefully maybe once that one is done, then now these big men can come in and claim ownership of those ranches. So there's an element of, again, being used. You know, you can be used to know that you go fight, you're going to have a share in this particular place. But when now it comes time for sharing the spoils, you know, you won't find yourself at the table. This is historical. People normally use others to, you know, for their own benefit. And the land question there is very complicated. You know, the moment we tell young people that it was during this particular age set that we lost this, and therefore the redemption of our rights now lies with this particular age set. You know, you are whipping up emotions, and you know, you are giving them a motive to go in there and fight, like, you know, that with their deaths.
For a minute, let's put those who are riding on those emotions of the people aside. George Natembeya, just for historical facts, is it not the case that thousands of acres of land in terms and in forms of ranches belong to people whose ancestral presence there is questioned, hence ignite that feeling that this land belongs to the people who are fighting for it?
If you go historical, even Nairobi, you know, the Maasai can come back and claim it. Are you saying that people have built houses in Mutaiga will hand them over to the Maasai because the ancestors passed there one day? The law is very clear. You know, the Kenya did not go the Zimbabwe way. There's a way in which when the white men were living, there was a way in which there was some kind of land arrangement, land tenure system and land reforms, and you know how ownership would move from the white people to the Africans. And you know, people keep saying that only whites own ranches in Laikipia. That's not true. We also have our own black Africans. Kenyans have got big ranches in that place. No talks about it.
All right, let's talk of the role of politicians in this wave of attacks. You say, and I quote, that the government knows the people behind this chaos, and the only challenge is there is no sufficient evidence. Do you mind explaining that, George Natembeya?
Yeah, the government operates on the basis of intelligence. You know, it's like there's nothing you can do without the government knowing. So we have got sufficient intelligence on who the perpetrators are. But when you take somebody to court, you must have a certain level of evidence, you know, to have an equitable case in court. And in most cases, people are not willing to come out and give evidence. They look at it as a community issue. Like if a member of parliament called people in a particular place at night and incited them to, you know, to invade a private ranch, the government will know that you met in a particular place and these are the things that you said. But you require somebody who was there to come out and record a statement and say, indeed, we were there, and I can confirm that this guy said this and that and that. That's what's lacking. You know, when the government goes and arrests senior members of society, including members of parliament, serving and former, it's not a light matter. It's a serious matter. And we are trying to express the fact that we have got an inkling on what has been happening.
But George Natembeya, just on the phraseology of the words I have quoted of you, how does the government know those who are planning, know those who are involved, and fail to obtain evidence to support the government's agenda?
Acquisition of evidence is a process, and it is basically voluntary. You can't go and tell somebody you're in that particular meeting, you must go and record a statement. You can't force people to record statements. And until people discover that being incited to commit acts of violence is a criminal offense, that it doesn't really serve you, then we still have these challenges because they come together like, you know, they're speaking like a community, like it's a secret. Yeah, but somehow we get this information that these people met in a particular place, in a particular hotel. This is what was discussed. Even sometimes we have recordings, but some of these recordings are not accepted in court. You'll be told who took this recording, using what device. It becomes such a very such a technical issue. Yeah. So these people are on our radar. You cannot continue committing crimes and expect the government not to do anything. Of course, when the legal system fails, there are other ways of dealing with this problem, including just naming and shaming, or bringing in the National Cohesion and Integration Commission that have got powers even to try to push a case so that some of these leaders can be barred from participating in elective politics.
All right, and given that we have seen some leaders record statement over what happened the last 2 to 3 weeks, namely and among them Tiati lawmaker William Kamket, former Laikipia North MP, given then what you are saying that there is no evidence to support, it seems as though it is a case of recording a statement. What will be the outcome for anyone who may want some people, at least in some way or some form, to be held accountable for what has happened?
That's our wish also, but the law of evidence was made by the colonialists. It has never been revisited. We talk of a threshold, talk about beyond reasonable doubt. You can have doubt, but it has to be beyond reasonable doubt. So somebody has committed an offense, well, they have committed an offense. But how do we link them to the offense without having corroborative evidence? That's where the challenge is. But this challenge will have been surmounted if our judicial officers also lived within their population. They live in some kind of ivory tower. I know many of them don't even know what's going on in Laikipia because they don't watch news, they don't read newspapers, ostensibly because they want to be influenced as they do their job. And therefore they look at things from a very academic perspective. Because I know if the judiciary just beat, you get somebody that were arrested, they're taken to court, they go through the due process, and they're jailed for 10 years. This thing will just stop. But even now, just having such a senior oversight spending a night in police cells is a nightmare. Just in police cells, a nightmare. You'll be told you're infringing on their rights. You're harassing them, and it's tricky.
All right, and because of the interest of time, probably one last question that is not related to the security situation. George Natembeya, word has it that you intend to seek the Trans Nzoia gubernatorial seat come 2022. Is that true?
I think it's within my right to seek for elective post if I wish to. I don't think there's any law that bars me from.
Given that it is your right, do you intend to be the governor of that county come 2022?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. George Natembeya is the Rift Valley Regional Commissioner. Thank you for your time once again here on TV 47.
Asante sana, nimeshukuru.
All right, we are making sense of the security situation. Remember, the government last Monday declared an operation in that area to flush out bandits. Musa Salah has been pitching camp there. Earlier on, he reported of change in the situation. Schools reopened earlier today after they were closed. But parents and students still, as Musa Salah reported, not convinced quite much of the security situation. But as assured by the Rift Valley Regional Commissioner, the situation, he says, will get better. Time for us to take a short break. Stay with us. We still have a lot lined up for you.
Ability is common in everyone. Those abled differently also have immense ability.
Maybe we are not good in both, but we can be good in life.
They reach beyond the limits in their special, different way.
If the society can just be careful in what they call them and how they refer to them, that would at least be better.
They need to be loved. They have feelings. They would like to give love. It's a natural thing.
Catch their story on Beyond the Limit on TV 47 every Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
The brain does not exactly know how to differentiate physical pain from the psychological.
Nilikuwa na feel nimefeel hata watoi wangu.
This month, our sisters, mothers and friends share their heartfelt stories of the pain and struggles with Joy Irongo.
We are all about being authentic and sharing our lifetime experiences to speak hope and empower a woman who's probably going through a rough patch.
Join us as we unravel the heartache.
So the doctor told me she has only 2 weeks to live.
Mimi nilikaa tu miezi 2 tu nikiwa na furaha kwa ndoa.
Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Are you looking to buy a home? Or are you looking to build one, yet you don't know where to start? Well, The Realtor is your home of real estate development information, whether you are looking to invest in the city or outside the city. We link you with the experts in the field, be it designing.
We have also a very nice lighting and then gypsum decoration on the top of the ceiling.
Roofing.
When you involve a professional in your construction, there is a difference. Project that has been delivered by a professional person and a project that has not been delivered by a professional person.
Welcome back. Let's get to more news. And Bochura Masagara residents in Kisii County are in shock after a middle-aged man hacked his 2 children to death before committing suicide. It's alleged Daniel Makori had quarreled with his wife prior to the incident. Andrin Kilemi has more.
A somber mood has engulfed Bochura Masagara village, Nyatieko location, Kisii County, after a 44-year-old man, Daniel Makori, killed his 2 children before committing suicide. Family members and neighbors say Makori and his wife Naomi had argued over 150 shillings, which was a part of the 800 shillings which Naomi had been paid at work.
Wakakimbia na pikipiki wakanibeba na huyu wakambeba. Ukuja kufika hapo nikakuta watu wamechasa kuchasa. Ni nduru imepikwa. Kuingia hakuna mahali mtu utaweza kupita uingie uone ni nini mbaya. Ate mwise mwenyewe ndiye alifanya nini? Alikata. Mwenye alileta amani hii ingekuwa ni mimi nimepanga huyu kijana kuja kunyongwa. Ni wale watoto walikuwa wanatoroka wadogo, akatorokea na mtoto mdogo. Yeye ndiye alienda kuleta maneno. Yeye ndiye tunauliza, yeye ndiye anasema bila maneno anatendeka. Mambo alienda hivi. Jioni ndio nikasikia akipiga simu. Kifikia bibi yake. Naomi umeamua aje? Naomi akamwambia mimi sijaamua. Kupika mimi kwa shilingi 150 ndio nataka ukuje tuongee.
Confirming the incident, Kisii Police Commander Francis Kohli said Makori attacked his 2 children aged 7 and 5 while they were sleeping, hacking them to death using a panga before committing suicide.
With the intention of establishing the cause of all the violence and also to establish whether there are other factors that might have contributed to violence.
The bodies of the deceased have been moved to Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
Elsewhere, there was an exchange of words between Kiambu Governor James Nyoro and the County Senator Kimani Wamatangi before the Public Investment and Accounts Committee of the Senate over audit queries of the 2018-2019 financial year. Governor Nyoro was hard pressed to explain the operations of the Integrated Management System, IFMIS, which Senator Wamatangi says has been used to misappropriate county funds. The county boss, however, says the senator is only driven by his interest in running for the governorship in next year's polls.
According to us, the building has been investigated by us around 2 times, And the last time it was closed due to some and few non-compliance issues.
At least why waangalie county government na engineers wote why waangalie katika hii area, sababu nyumba zimeanguka hapa juu, kulianguka kwa kiasi huko juu, kuna ghorofa ilianguka ine huko, alafu na hii nyingine tena.
We apologize for that mix-up. That story of Kiambu governor and senator and the war of words in the Senate today will be coming your way shortly. Moving on, days after the media highlighted the disheartening state of Garissa Referral Hospital mortuary, where 11 bodies of victims recovered from River Tana different families have started visiting the morgue to look at their missing next of kins. Mike Kagungo reports.
More than 5 families visited the morgue, though no one found their missing loved ones. First, it was Peter Mariga from Kisii County, who works in Garissa, looking for his 3 relatives who have been missing for the last 1 month.
Sasa jana tulikuja na leo tumekuja kuangalia, lakini tumeangalia tumepata wetu hawako. Sasa tumeomba serikali, watu wetu ni wengi sana kutoka Kisii wanakaa hapa Garissa, wengine msituni hapa mahali watu waliwawa.
Mohamed Siat from Tana River County was also looking for his 2 brothers, Mohamed Ismail and Jibril Sawane, who he alleged were kidnapped from Hola in April 2018, and they have not been able to find them since.
Nilikuja nikajaribu kuangalia, sikuweza kuwajua kwa sababu ile shida wamepitiwa na mahali walitupwa ndani, na pia mwili ni watu 11, na hawa vijana wetu pia walichukuliwa sehemu ya Tana River Hola center ya town, na wakati walikuwa wanachukuliwa pia kulikuwa na rapsha kidogo imetokea kwa town ndani.
Among other people who visited the morgue are the relatives of one Ahmed Farah, who disappeared in 2014, and he has not been found to date. The families urged the government to help and facilitate DNA tests since the bodies are in bad shape and cannot be recognized.
Pia tulikuwa tunaomba serikali wakuje watufanyie DNA ili tuweze kusaidika, kwa sababu tumetafuta hao watu wetu na paka wa leo hatujawapata.
Tumeomba serikali itusaidie kutafuta hao watu wote. Tunaendelea na usuni hatujachua hao watu wetu mahali wako.
Kinyanjui Dhuo from the North-Eastern Regional Office for the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights said the commission will work with other government agencies to unveil the misery behind the torturing, killing and dumping of dead bodies in River Tana.
It is clear the bodies were immersed into water after killing, because none of the bodies shows signs of bloating, which is a sign of bodies in water or drowning. So what we are doing now is that we are bringing on board other agencies, including IPOA. We have just paid a courtesy call to them here in Garissa for them to be part of this process, because we don't know which direction the postmortem will point us. We have also spoken to the police, particularly the police here in Garissa.
The bodies are said to be unidentifiable since they have stayed in the waters for a long time. The families who have lost their loved ones in the last 3 months have, however, been asked to come out and check if they might be in the mortuary. For TV 47, I'm Mike Kaguango.
Well, let's revisit the Kiambu story, and there was an exchange of words between Kiambu Governor James Nyoro and the County Senator Kimani Wamatangi before the Public Investment and Accounts Committee on the state of the Senate over audit queries of the 2018-2019 financial year. Governor Nyoro was hard pressed to explain the operations of the Integrated Management System, IFMIS, which Senator Wamatangi claims has been used to misappropriate county funds. The county boss, however, says the senator is only driven by his interest in running for the governorship in next year's polls.
One who has been in office for 18 months, having been the deputy governor since 2017, says he went to meet with the SEC 2 weeks ago to deal with theft of 265 million in cash from the county government. And Chair, there is no need of mincing words. This county government is a casino. It's a casino. You know, where you just go into this room and you play roulette and you walk out with 58 million. You go into the other room, you pause, you walk with 28 million. Chair, with all due respect, you would agree with me, Chair.
I'll help. Let's avoid words that will elicit responses that we won't be able to understand. Just use words that you'll be able to respond to. If you say it's a casino,
I can respond.
Don't talk.
Because he is the senator of the casino.
You know,
he is the senator of the casino. I wish it is Sakura who is saying this. He is the chair of, or he is the senator of casino.
Excuse me.
When I want to pick on the senator, he was the senator of the county when all these things were happening, even including all the ills that were done by the former governor. It was not the senator who actually blew the whistle about what was happening in Kiambu. It was the MCAs and myself, because on a number of occasions, and I have evidence on YouTube, where I highlighted things were not working well, the senator was not there. Today, he has come now to pretend he is the savior of Kiambu.
Well, from Kiambu, let's get to the world of sports. Dennis Otieno is with